Could this be the end of Nedu Wazobia's career as a broadcaster? Guys, crazy things have been happening in the entertainment industry lately. Nedu Wazobia is one of the leaders of the popular podcast group called The Honest Bunch. They usually drop their episodes on Mondays on YouTube, Spotify, and other streaming platforms. Now, The Honest Bunch podcast is one of the most controversial podcasts in Africa. You could call it the biggest, of course. And they have won several awards because the podcast has always been seen stirring up Nigeria and Africa at large, calling the biggest and the biggest of celebrities as the guests in the podcast. Now, recently they had a guest called D1, who happens to be one of Big Brother's ex-children. Yes. And D1 stared the entire country and mentioned a name called Very Dark Man. One self-acclaimed public human rights activist. It got really messy. And this morning we woke up finding out that Nedu Wazobia had made a press release that he was, I don't know, maybe resigning or dropping out from the Honest Bunch podcast, which comes to me like a shocker because, I mean, they've caused a lot of controversy, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa at large. Why is this particular one so grave that he's giving up his career as a broadcaster for it? An official statement from Nedu. The past week has brought a lot into perspective for me. Hosting the Honest Bunch podcast has been an incredible journey, one built on open conversation, bold perspectives, and the willingness to tackle difficult topics. But with that responsibility has come an overwhelming level of scrutiny, antagonism, and unfounded accusations that have now begun to take a personal toll. I have made the difficult decision to step away from the podcast. This is not a decision I take lightly, but one I believe is necessary for my peace of mind, for my family, and for the integrity of the show itself. I have always been committed to honest conversations, but when these conversations lead to relentless tackle and misinterpretation, it becomes clear that stepping back is the best path forward. Now guys, when you want to fight, it is very much advised that you do not fight with a pig, because a pig has no regret fighting in the mud. Even if it gets stained, it doesn't matter to it because that's its way of life. So I don't know. I love Nedu personally. I'm not saying what he did on the podcast was good. I'm not siding Very Dark Man either for, bringing up personal conversations he had with Nedu into limelight for people to see. But however, my heart goes out to Nedu and the Honest Bunch podcast. He is the leader. He is like the one who carries the Honest Bunch podcast, and they usually hail him for being the most dragged of the family. So my heart goes out to Nedu, and I hope to see you in more gigs. I'm sorry this happened right now. So people, please share your opinion on this particular event that is making waves on the internet. And until I come your way next time, my name remains Riches.